My last video I made on the crew, I meant to originally talk about like the whole hashtag Stop Killing Games movement and everything. I got so kind of like wrapped up in my own kind of like personal anger, and I was just like super upset at like the situation that I completely forgot. I completely overlooked the Stop Killing Games movement. But Accursed Farms here, this guy is an absolute G. He's launching the largest campaign ever to stop publishers from destroying games, and he's using the crew as the catalyst for launching his campaign. And hats off to this guy. He's doing the Lord's work when it comes to this type of stuff and getting the attention that it deserves. And it's not just the crew that recently suffered from Ubisoft and just publishers taking games completely offline. Little Big Planet suffered from this as well. For those of you who don't know, Little Big Planet was a PlayStation exclusive game series where you could the game basically thrived off of user created content. And if you just look up on YouTube, there's hundreds if not thousands of just custom made levels that are practically games in of themselves. I never played Little Big Planet. I was never really big into it, but I know a lot of people were, and for a lot of people, there's just a lot of memories in that game. But unfortunately, Sony pulled the plug on the online services for all three of the games, and now, unless you have your custom levels downloaded, they're all basically lost media. They're all gone into the abyss. But Accursed Farms doing an absolute fantastic job rallying people and getting the word out and giving us basically steps on how to contact the proper authorities, discussing this matter for your specific country. This is his website here, StopKillingGames.com. I'm leaving it down below in the description. It basically gives you a rundown of what's happening in the Stop Killing Games scene right now and just updates, and you can sign up for the mailing list as well. You click on Take Action here, select what country you are a part of, United States, and it gives you a bunch of different things that you need to do. You can do to take action in your region. If you live in the United States, I highly recommend just writing to your Congress, looking up who your representative in Congress is, and just writing about it. And obviously talking about how this is a quality of life issue, how this is a corporation removing something you purchased from basically your library, especially if you have it on Uplay and you had your license revoked for the game, them just taking it away from you. And it's basically theft, basically legalized theft. And again, I'm a realist. I can't really say that this will do anything at first, but the thing is with Washington and Capitol Hill is the wheels of Capitol Hill, you got to grease the wheels, and they run, and the wheels spin very, very, very slowly. And I don't know, I follow politics like it's a sport. My brain is cooked, so I follow politics like it's a sport, which is not healthy, but it's just something I do. And seeing the United States House of Representatives right now, one of the least effective Congresses in U.S. history, is not a good sign, but it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to contact your representative in Congress about this issue. Again, links to everything in the description down below, and shout out to Accursed Farms for this. He's doing, like I said, the Lord's work. And then also, speaking of doing the Lord's work, on the other side of the fence, we have the Crew Unlimited, which is a team of modders and developers working to restore the Crew 1. And right now, their mission statement their mission is basically creating a server emulator to be able to run the Crew 1 again. For those of you who don't know, so the Crew basically cannot be played offline. So what they're trying to do is begin to emulate a private server to be able to play this game online once more, third-party wise. Somewhat the same thing as Need for Speed World. Need for Speed World shut down in 2015, and the community was able to basically reverse engineer the game and make it playable online again on a private server. Nowadays, Need for Speed World is absolutely thriving. Need for Speed World's arguably in its prime now, years after EA got rid of and terminated the game. And that possibility could happen here with the Crew Unlimited. Link to this Discord down below in the description, but you go over here and there's some absolutely insane progress already happening here. I actually said this on, I was on Sid Waj's podcast, The Torque Show. Again, link down below to that in the description, and talked about it on his podcast. And we are blessed in the racing community and I think we really underestimate just how many smart people we have in this community. Like, these people are dedicating their blood, sweat, and tears to reverse engineering the Crew 1 and making it playable again. Like, the Crew is just this mediocre racing game. Obviously, it's a pretty mediocre racing game. I'm not going to beat around the bush, but the game, for me and for so many others, has just so many memories and so many fond memories. And arguably, for a lot of us, it's the best game in the series. And there's a lot of untapped potential in the Crew 1. I personally believe that. And the Crew, and it's just insane to see so many people dedicating all their talent, all their smarts, and just all of their blood, sweat, and tears into reverse engineering this 10-year-old game from Ubisoft. That's absolutely amazing. And shout out to everyone working on this project. Shout out to all the testers, researchers, anybody contributing to this project. Big shout out to yous. And like I said before I went on my little tangent there, there's already some amazing progress going on here with the Crew 1. I'm just going to play it here. Now, this doesn't seem like much, but you gotta understand, this is them getting past the main menu and loading into the map for the Crew 1. This is absolutely insane. When you just think about it, the fact that they're already able to just get into the game, independent of the Crew's servers, that's awesome. Obviously, the game probably crashes once they load in. But that's just still such amazing progress to getting this game working again. And again, right now, we gotta appreciate every small step that these developers and that these modders are taking in order to get one of our favorite racing games back up and running again. And hopefully, it would be awesome to see the Crew 1 come back online and reach that untapped potential that could have been with the Crew 1. Unfortunately, the Crew 2 and Motorfest went down a completely different path than what a lot of people wanted. And I think this whole situation with the Crew 1 really kind of shows just the rift in the Crew community and just how there's so many people that just don't vibe with the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest. I'm one of those people, as you all know. So it would be really interesting to see how far the Crew Unlimited goes. I hope it reaches its max potential, and it'd be awesome to see the game receive, community updates, community support, similar to how Test Drive Unlimited 1 and Test Drive Unlimited 2 did, as well as Need for Speed World. There is a rich history of dead racing games being revived by the community and flourishing, basically post their official lifespan. So, and I hope the Crew is able to join that list, and maybe we can get a Crew game that folks in the community wanted before the Crew franchise did a complete 180. And I think that possibility is why Ubisoft went ahead and started revoking licenses on Uplay, because I don't think Ubisoft wants a competitor to the Crew 2 or the Crew Motorfest, because here's the thing, the Crew 1 being revived and players going to the Crew 1 and playing that as opposed to the Crew 2 or the Crew Motorfest, let's face it, that eats into the Crew's profits. Because they want people on the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest buying microtransactions and buying those games. They want those games. They want people on those games to spend money so they can get more money in their wallets. They don't want people playing an unofficial version of the Crew 1 and possibly, not spending money at Ubisoft. So unlike EA, which EA seems to be pretty chill about Need for Speed World, because EA makes so much money outside of Need for Speed, even in just the Need for Speed franchise as a whole. Need for Speed World isn't really cutting into the profits at all of Need for Speed. But the fact that there's only 2 other games in the Crew franchise, a revived Crew community ran Crew 1 could very well dig a little bit into the profits of Ubisoft. And I don't think Ubisoft wants that very much. I think Ubisoft would and I think that's why they shut down the servers just as a whole, and that they just completely nuked the game, and why they're revoking licenses. And I think that's pretty foul of them. It's pretty fucking disgusting. Ubisoft are around. I'm pretty fucking disgusted by Ubisoft. I uninstalled Uplay. I've really been itching to play Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2 again, but I just can't get myself to do it anymore. I'm not buying anything from Ubisoft anymore. I'm not covering Motorfest ever. I'm not covering The Crew 2. The only thing I'm going to be covering about The Crew is any updates about the situation at hand, and obviously community news, the Crew Unlimited. I'm obviously going to be talking a lot about that in the future. But what do you guys think about the situation? Again, shout out to Accursed Farms, link below to his campaign down below in the description. I'm pretty parched. I've been drinking, all I've had today was a Mountain Dew. I gotta get some water in my system. That's it for me tonight. I'll catch yous all in my next video. Have a good night, everyone.